Ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens, champions and warriors, I want to talk to you today about a powerful truth. Mornings build masters. So let me say it again for the people in the back. Mornings build masters, because how you start your day will determine how you dominate your destiny. You don't build a championship life by accident. You build it by intention. You build it by design. And that design starts not at noon, not when the world wakes up, but when the masters rise. Let me give you 4 key principles, 4 biblical, practical, unstoppable truths for why mornings make masters. Mastery doesn't happen by accident. It's not the result of a lucky break or some random stroke of favor. No, mastery is intentional. It is carved out in the quiet, in the dark, in the early hours before the world wakes up. And here's the truth that most people miss. The morning hours are the forge where mastery is formed. You don't become a master in front of the crowd. You become a master in the silence, in the discipline, in the daily, deliberate decision to rise before the rest of the world and do what others are not willing to do. That's when mastery is built, before the masses awake. Let me bring you to the word. Proverbs 8:17 says, I love those who love me, and those who seek me early shall find me. Now, this isn't just about waking up for a devotional or some spiritual exercise. This is a principle of priority. It's about putting first things first and seeking wisdom, purpose, and alignment before the distractions of the day dilute your focus. The masters, the true masters, understand that the morning gives them uncontested time. Before the phone starts ringing, before emails pile up, before the kids are yelling, before the demands of the world flood your mind, there is a window, a sacred window, a narrow gate of time where your mind is fresh, your spirit is clear, and your actions are amplified. You see, what most people do is they wake up reacting. The alarm goes off and they groan. They check their phone and compare themselves to someone's highlight reel. They scroll, they sigh, they stumble. And what they've just done is forfeit the gift of the morning. They have surrendered their most powerful time to distraction and disorganization. But the masters, they do it differently. They command their morning. They rise up with a plan. They meet the sunrise with strategy. They meet the stillness with intention. They understand that mornings are not just the beginning of the day. They are the foundation of success. Let me ask you something. If the foundation of a skyscraper is weak, what happens to the whole building? It collapses. So how do you expect to build a life of wealth, impact, freedom, or mastery when your foundation, your morning, is shaky? You build mastery when you take control early, before the world gets a say, before anyone else gets to inject their problems, their needs, their opinions into your mind. When you start the day on offense instead of defense, you begin to create from a position of power. Let me tell you something I've seen over and over again in my life and in the lives of my millionaire clients. The way they show up in the morning determines how they dominate the marketplace. When they take time for clarity, for planning, for gratitude, for sharpening their vision in the quiet hours, they walk into their day with authority. They're not guessing. They're not wondering. They're not just busy. They're strategic. And don't confuse activity with mastery. A lot of people are busy, but they're busy losing. They're busy going in circles. They're busy surviving. But masters move with precision. And that precision is shaped in the morning when their minds are clean and their hearts are aligned. There's a reason Jesus often went to pray early in the morning. Mark 1:35 says, very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Now, if the Son of God made time in the early morning to realign, refocus, and reconnect with purpose, what makes us think we can skip that and still lead with power? I'm not telling you to be religious. I'm telling you to be relentless, to be deliberate, be hungry enough to rise when others are still dreaming, because dreamers dream at night, but masters move in the morning. That's when you review your goals. That's when you visualize your future. That's when you declare who you are, not based on your past, but based on your promise. That's when you train your body, condition your spirit, prepare your mind, and declare war on mediocrity. You cannot buy back time, but every morning it gives you a fresh deposit of it. The question is, are you investing it or wasting it? The masses sleep in. The masses hit snooze. The masses hope things will change. But masters don't hope. They act. Masters don't snooze. They seize. Masters don't react. They create. If you want to separate yourself from the 97%, do what they won't do. Master your mornings. Build your business before breakfast. Build your mind before meetings. Build your spirit before scrolling. Because the road to mastery is paved with early mornings. And while the masses wake up looking for comfort, the masters wake up looking for command. And that's the difference between living a life of default and living a life of design. So tomorrow morning, before the sun rises, before the house wakes up, before anyone tells you who you're not, I dare you to get up and take your place. Your time is not in the crowd, it's in the quiet. Your power is not in the noise, it's in the stillness. Mastery begins before the masses awake. Now, go live like it. The momentum is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. It is invisible, yet undeniable. It's what separates the average from the exceptional, the hesitant from the heroic, the stalled from the soaring. And if you want to harness momentum in your life, there's one place it begins. In the morning. That's right. Mornings don't just set the tone, they multiply momentum. The principle is simple. What starts strong continues strong. What begins with purpose continues with power. And when you own your morning, you gain leverage on your whole day. Most people underestimate the compound power of a focused morning. They think it's just about waking up early. No, it's about waking up with energy, with clarity, with intentionality. That's how momentum starts. See, momentum is spiritual. It's not just productivity. It's prophetic. In Zechariah 4:10, God says, "Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin." Did you catch that? He rejoices not in the finish, but in the start. Because when something starts, it activates heaven. When something begins with faith, it opens the door for favor. When something is moved with purpose, it draws provision. You want heaven's blessing on your business? Start moving in the morning. You want divine acceleration in your finances, in your health, in your relationships? Begin your day with movement, not mediocrity. Because God can't multiply what you won't move. Now hear me clearly. Momentum is not about speed. Momentum is about direction. It's about consistent forward movement, even if it's small, and morning movement, no matter how small, gains spiritual weight. It begins to pick up speed. You start with 5 minutes of prayer and suddenly you have a stronger spirit. You start with 10 minutes of journaling and suddenly you see your thoughts more clearly. You begin with a short workout and now your body's energized. What started as a whisper turns into a roar, and that's the multiplying effect of momentum. And here's the problem most people face. They keep waiting to feel motivated. But let me break this to you. You don't need motivation. You need motion. Motivation comes and goes. It's emotional. It's fickle. But motion creates motivation. You take action and the feelings follow. You move your feet and your fire gets lit. You don't wait to be inspired to move. You move and become inspired. And the best time to create motion is in the morning, because the resistance is lowest, the distractions haven't started yet, the world hasn't piled on its noise and negativity. The morning is your sacred space to move toward mastery, to move toward your goals, to move toward the person you were created to be. Think about the law of inertia. A body at rest stays at rest. A body in motion stays in motion. When you sleep in, hit snooze, stumble into the day, you've already built in resistance. You've told your brain, we're starting slow. And guess what? That sluggishness carries over. You're behind on your day, behind on your energy, behind on your opportunities. But when you wake up and immediately move, you've done something powerful. You've told your mind we're in control. You've told your spirit we're aligned. You've told the universe we're ready. That motion creates momentum, and momentum attracts miracles. Now, some people say, I'm just not a morning person. Let me tell you something. There is no such thing. There are only trained habits and untrained excuses. You can train your body. You can train your focus. You can train your environment to serve you instead of sabotage you. Masters don't ask what's easy. They ask what's effective. And effective people build morning momentum, whether they feel like it or not. That's why athletes train before sunrise. That's why CEOs block off time to think before the office buzzes. That's why top performers meditate, journal, and prepare while others are still in dreamland, because they understand if you can win the morning, you've already gained 80% of your leverage for the day. Momentum isn't flashy. It's not always Instagram widely. Sometimes it looks like quietly opening your notebook and reviewing your goals. Sometimes it's stepping out the treadmill when nobody's watching. Sometimes it's taking 5 deep breaths and declaring, I am focused. I am ready. I am moving forward. It might not look like much, but in the spiritual realm, that's a spark. And God breathes on sparks. Every step you take in the morning is a signal. It says to your soul, we are not staying stuck. It says to your mind, we are choosing progress. It says to heaven, we are ready to receive. That alignment is where power flows. That consistency is where doors open. That commitment is where acceleration begins. And here's the best part. Morning momentum compounds. What you start today builds into tomorrow. Today's habits become tomorrow's harvest. One focused hour every morning becomes a business built. One prayerful start becomes peace sustained. One disciplined act becomes a destiny unlocked. The problem is most people are looking for breakthrough without obedience. They want results without rhythm. But God blesses movement. He favors faith in action, and he multiplies what you move, especially when you move early. So don't waste your morning. Don't give away your momentum. Don't let the enemy of distraction steal your daily direction. Start strong, move early, declare boldly, because when you do, you activate something greater than motivation. You activate momentum, and when momentum is multiplied, nothing can stop a focused, aligned, God-powered life. Now go move and let the morning multiply what God's placed inside you. Your morning routine is not just a set of habits. It is a reflection, a mirror of how you think about yourself and your life. What you do first thing in the morning reveals your mindset. It shows the world, but more importantly, it shows you who you really are beneath the surface noise. If you want to change your life, change your mindset first. And the fastest way to change your mindset is to change your morning routine. Think about this. If your morning is chaotic, rushed, distracted, or lazy, that's a clear sign your mindset is reactive, unfocused, and unprepared for greatness. Conversely, if your mornings are deliberate, intentional, and disciplined, your mindset is powerful, proactive, and set on mastery. The way you start your day sets the tone for everything else. A routine is more than just what you do. It's a declaration of your priorities. It's how you tell yourself what matters most. So when you wake up and reach for your phone to scroll through social media, what are you telling yourself? That distraction and comparison matter more than your own dreams. When you hit the snooze button, what are you telling yourself? That comfort is more important than growth. But when you get up early, pray, read, plan, and prepare, what you're saying loud and clear is, I am serious about my life. I value my time. I am committed to excellence. Your morning routine literally shapes your brain. As neuroscience tells us that repeated actions create neural pathways. The more you practice focus, discipline, and intention in the morning, the stronger those pathways become. You are literally rewiring your mind to be a master, not a victim. You become someone who does not wait for opportunities. You create them. You become someone who controls their destiny, not controlled by circumstance. Remember the story of the Israelites in the wilderness. Every morning, God provided manna, enough for each day. When they hoarded it, it spoiled. When they trusted the daily provision, they thrived. Your morning routine is your manna. If you try to store it or waste it, you starve your mind. But if you trust the daily discipline of your routine, you feed your soul and sharpen your focus. The power of the morning routine is also about intentionality. Life doesn't just happen to masters, they make life happen. And they make life happen by designing their mornings with precision. They don't wake up and stumble into their goals, they wake up to their goals. They visualize success, review their vision, speak affirmations, and set clear priorities. That kind of intentionality trains the mind to focus, reduces anxiety, and increases confidence. Let me be clear. Your morning routine doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't need to take hours or require fancy tools. It can be as simple as 5 minutes of gratitude, 10 minutes of reading a powerful book, a quick prayer or meditation, and a moment of planning your top 3 priorities. The key is consistency. The power lies not in perfection, but in persistence. The difference between a successful person and a struggler often comes down to whether they have a morning routine that honors their vision. When your routine reflects a mindset of discipline, you start showing up differently in your relationships, your business, and your health. You become more patient because your spirit is grounded. You become more focused because your mind is clear. You become more confident because you have proven to yourself day after day that you can win your mornings. And winning your mornings means winning your life. I want you to imagine 2 people. One wakes up at 6 a.m., prays, writes down their goals, reads a chapter of a book, and exercises. The other wakes up at 9 a.m., immediately checks their phone, worries about the day, and rushes through breakfast. Which person do you think will be more productive, more joyful, more successful, more prepared for opportunity? The answer is obvious. Your morning routine reflects your self-worth. If you treat your mornings like a sacred appointment with yourself, you are telling yourself, I am worth this investment. And when you believe you are worth investing in, your whole life changes. You start attracting better people, better opportunities, and better results. But if your routine is careless, rushed, or lazy, you're telling yourself the opposite. I'm not worth the effort. And your life will reflect that mindset. You will attract mediocrity, miss chances, and struggle to find peace. A strong morning routine also builds resilience. When life throws challenges, and it will, you will have an anchor to hold on to. That anchor is the habit of starting your day with clarity and calm. It's the confidence that no matter what happens, you have the power to steer your day and, by extension, your life. Let me remind you, habits compound. One day of a strong morning routine won't make you a master. But 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, that's a lifetime of momentum, a fortress of focus, and a legacy of leadership. You are literally writing the story of your life every morning. What story do you want to tell? Remember, the mirror doesn't lie. Your morning routine exposes your mindset. If you want to grow, your mindset has to grow first. And the fastest way to grow your mindset is to build a morning routine that mirrors the greatness you are destined for. So today, start small, wake up 15 minutes earlier, turn off distractions, speak words of power, write down your priorities, read something inspiring, pray or meditate, move your body. These simple acts will realign your mind and spirit. Over time, this routine will transform you from a person who reacts to life into a master who creates life. Your life. You are worth the investment. Your dreams are worth the fight. Your future is worth the discipline. And it all begins with how you marry your mindset in your morning routine. Make your morning sacred. Make your mornings powerful, because when your mornings reflect your highest mindset, your life will reflect your highest destiny. Discipline is one of the most misunderstood words in the world today. Many see discipline as punishment, as restriction, as something unpleasant, a hard road they wish they didn't have to walk. But let me tell you something that will change the way you view your entire journey. God honors discipline. God honors those who choose discipline. Discipline is not a curse. It is a blessing. It is the pathway to greatness. the bridge between where you are and where God wants you. Look at the scriptures. Hebrews 12:11 says, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but later it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. Notice the promise here. Discipline may not feel good in the moment, but the fruit it produces, peace, righteousness, victory, is worth every moment of discomfort. It's not punishment, it's preparation. God is not looking for talent alone. He's not looking for just gifts or opportunity. He's looking for faithful, disciplined servants who will do what it takes, even when no one is watching, even when it's tough. It's easy to be consistent when things are easy, but discipline is shown when you keep going, when you rise early, work hard, say no to distractions, and keep your eyes fixed on the prize, even in the face of setbacks. When you commit to discipline, you are telling God and yourself that you are serious about your calling. You are willing to pay the price. You are willing to go through the refining fire, and God responds to that commitment with favor. He moves to bless those who do not quit, who do not settle, who do not choose comfort over calling. Think about the great heroes of faith and success. Joseph, who was sold into slavery, but stayed disciplined and faithful until he rose to rule a nation. Daniel, who stayed disciplined in his prayer and lifestyle, even when faced with lions. Paul, who endured hardships and remained disciplined in preaching the gospel. These men weren't lucky, they were disciplined, and God honored that discipline by elevating them. Discipline is what turns dreams into reality. You can have the biggest vision in the world, but without discipline, it stays a dream. Discipline is what gets you out of bed when your body says, stay down. Discipline is what keeps you focused when distractions scream for your attention. Discipline is what causes you to say no to instant gratification and yes to long-term reward. I want to remind you that discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about getting up one more time than you fall down. It's about showing up and doing the work even when you don't feel like it. That is the hallmark of those God honors. They don't give up. They don't quit. They don't make excuses. They keep pressing forward. God's blessings are not random. They follow discipline like a shadow follows light. When you build discipline into your life, whether it's in your business, your health, your relationships, or your spiritual walk, you build a foundation that can't be shaken. That foundation invites God's supernatural intervention because it shows your heart is ready to receive it. The enemy will try to discourage you, telling you discipline is too hard, that it's not worth it, that you deserve comfort. But remember, comfort zones are graves for dreams. If you want to see God honor your life, you must be willing to leave comfort behind and embrace discipline. You must be willing to do what others won't. You must be willing to sow discipline today for a harvest tomorrow. One of the greatest secrets to success is understanding the power of delayed gratification. Discipline teaches you that the temporary discomfort you endure now will produce eternal dividends. It's like planting a seed. You don't see the fruit immediately, but if you keep watering and nurturing, the harvest will come. God honors that kind of faithfulness. Every discipline you develop is a spiritual investment. When you discipline your time, your mind, your words, and your actions, you are building capital in the kingdom of God and in your life. You're showing God you can be trusted with more. And when God sees trustworthiness, He promotes, He elevates, He opens doors no man can close. Remember also that discipline creates character. Character is what you do when no one is watching. It's the unseen work that prepares you for the seen reward. Without character, success is fleeting. With character forged by discipline, success lasts and multiplies. God honors the discipline because discipline aligns you with His order. God is a God of order, not chaos. He created the sun to rise and set on schedule. He designed the seasons to come and go in perfect timing. When you align yourself with discipline, you're aligning yourself with God's divine order. You become a vessel ready to carry His blessing and fulfill His purpose. So I challenge you today Don't run from discipline. Don't despise it. Don't avoid it. Embrace it. See it as your best friend, your greatest ally, your ticket to the life God has promised you. Discipline may be tough, but it's the surest path to peace, prosperity, and power. God honors those who honor discipline. He rewards those who remain faithful in the small things. He elevates those who are consistent in their commitment. So if you want God's favor, if you want your dreams to become your reality, if you want to walk in your destiny with confidence, then you must